For nearly a year, I've been making these Dev Talks videos with the sole purpose of talking about the things in pop culture that I hold near and dear to my heart, and in explaining my oddly specific reasons for loving whatever it is I'm discussing. I've made countless connections with virtual strangers who found they loved these things for the same specific reasons. With that being said, I want to take a second to thank everyone who has clicked, liked, shared, commented, whatever on this channel in the last few months. Seeing an outpour of supportive comments, especially in the last 3 weeks, has meant so much to me. Let's keep it going. I bring up the fact that all of my videos to date have been about something that I love and can then in great detail explain why I love it, because I've had today's topic on standby since I started the series in October of last year. Why, you ask? It's simple. I couldn't explain why I loved it. The music videos, the lyrics, the instrumentation, the eeriness, whatever it may be. In 2018, I had a very baseline understanding of why I liked this record. But today, in going with a different approach into this video, I want to dive headfirst in truly understanding why it is I love Render Another Ugly Method by Mothers. The indie folk rock band Mothers out of Athens, Georgia, go Dogs, got their start in 2013 with vocalist Christine Leschber starting it as a solo project. And as people in the greater Atlanta area started to take notice of the talented singer, she began to recruit other musicians to form Mothers as we know it today. And not too long after their debut project, When You Walk a Long Distance You Are Tired, was released and met with high praise. Now, personally, I found Mothers in the summer of 2018 in an interesting way. Their current record label, Anti Records, in 2009 was home to another band I love by the name of Dead Man's Bones. And yes, that is Ryan Gosling. Don't worry, come Halloween, they're getting a video too. I will explain all. Point being, I was watching an old video of theirs and afterwards wanted to check out some of Anti's new talent, and the most recent video, you guessed it, was a Mothers video for their song Pink. And when I say I was addicted to this video and song, I genuinely mean it. I could not get enough of it. Rewatching this video and streaming their other new single, Blame Kit, was making me extremely excited for their new album, Render Another Ugly Method, coming out that September. With high anticipation for their new record, I felt it was appropriate for me to go into their debut album, and I instantly fell in love. The vulnerability that is showcased from top to bottom, incredibly vivid storytelling, Christine's very intoxicating high-registered voice, and the dreamlike state that the instrumentation puts the listener in all throughout the album is what made Mother skyrocket past anybody in my playlist that year. So what changed from When You Walk a Long Distance You Are Tired to Render Another Ugly Method? Almost everything. Render Another Ugly Method, much like the first record, displayed a lot of transparency, but a lot of the straightforward reflection that was present on the debut album is matched with metaphors and detailed imagery to explain the feelings felt on Render Another Ugly Method. Music reviewers would state things like, it's an album that demands careful listening, and they're right, because along with the deep and poetic lyrics comes this very irregular and sometimes off-meter instrumentation that often posed a distraction to me, as I wanted to understand what these lyrics meant, but I'd be in awe of the musical performance. And perhaps that's my ADHD doing me a disservice, but when the disservice is songs like Baptist Trauma, how mad could I truly be? All this to say, I'm here to appreciate the themes and meaning of the lyrics this time around. And after further research, I feel the 3 songs to break down and also cover a good portion of what this album meant is Beauty Routine, Baptist Trauma, and Pink. Beauty Routine being placed as the intro for the album always felt like a very poignant move. This track, clocking in on the album as the shortest song, but with a lot to say, truly does set the stage for what's to come. The first few lines being a comparison of herself to a white mouse, and further research was her perhaps saying, much like a mouse, she's an insignificant creature bound to a cage, looking out to the world, which would line up with the rest of the song and how all these lyrics express exhaustion and just existing, trying to keep up with what society has set as the standard. That continues with the next few lines and her saying, listening to this back when it came out in 2018, I could never piece them out simile, but always connected with the second verse as she laid out a great explanation of what things have been done and placed in our everyday lives that we mindlessly do every day to seek validity. At least that's what I took from it. Christine herself has gone on record saying, "Beauty routine explores the idea of semantic satiation as applied to obsessive rituals, especially those associated with beauty and physicality, where repetition leads to a loss of meaning and cognitive recognition." Upon my first listen and seeing the track list, this song with its title alone gave me a feeling that it would possibly stand out on the record, and my prediction became a reality, as this dark and loud, panic attack-inducing song holds no punches in multiple ways. Along with the hard-hitting writing, specifically on drums and guitar, comes this beautiful nightmarish singing performance from Christine. These sounds of darkness, although unfamiliar to the ears of fans, were much like any other softer song Mothers had put out at that point, and how hard it is to turn it off and not play it another time in awe of the performance. To be sedated and locked in on the performance meant lyrics went by the wayside for me, but in looking into them, another layer of immense darkness is added. The song starting with the lyrics, is why songs like these require careful listening and inspection, as the title appears to serve as an acronym. Baptist Trauma, in my opinion, really encapsulates the unsettling sounds and aggressiveness that exists on this record, and lyrics like "Bloom all possible torture," followed with the repeated line of "into something thrilling," is showcasing a new side of Mothers, greatly separating the Sophomore project from When You Walk a Long Distance. This being the second single following song Blanket were big statements to showcase the new record, as both songs show off this new post-punk style that had never been explored by the band prior. This sound of post-punk and indie rock joining forces was a sound that I had found myself really enjoying upon discovering it that summer of 2018. So clicking this video and hearing this song sent me into an actual frenzy. The most interesting thing about Pink being a 7-minute track is the fact that outside of the growing intensity in the rhythm section and the sudden change of mood and drop of the bass and drums near the end, the song remains very familiar throughout those 7 minutes, showcasing this almost monotone singing style from Christine that lasts the entire record. But in listening to her lyrics, the two coexist quite well, being she's talking about how hard and genuinely frightening it can be to yearn for another person, with lyrics like,
months, and are you still a
become very engraved in what she's saying, because this feeling of wanting another person can feel like walking on eggshells at times, and it can be extremely scary to fail and try to find it in another person, and another, till it's just right. And the repetitiveness of that process, almost in my opinion, mirrors the repetitiveness in this song, that at some point willows away into the calm, but comes tenfold with twice the anxiety, and in the music's case, twice the volume and disorderedness. Render Another Ugly Method is an album I love dearly, and have for almost 3 years now. And loving for how sonically different it was to its predecessor, I left the content of its lyrics out to dry without even realizing I did so. I'm glad that one day I realized that my reasons for enjoying this album were somewhat dense, and I could potentially be missing out on a better listening experience. Mothers is a very, very important band to me. 100% of their catalog has gotten me through the toughest of days. And to learn more about Christine's lyrics and break down the level of transparency she's presented on not only this record but the one before has just made Mothers that much more important to me. I can with confidence say that I learned a lot and hope there is more to hear and take in from this record. But I can also say in confidence that I truly found out why it is I love Render Another Ugly Method.